Joined here this evening at McMullen Park, Bedford Men's manager Rob Sinclair. Rob, thanks very much for joining us this evening.
No worries,
Firstly,
good to see you.
How are you? Have you had much of an off-season, busy off-season?
Yeah, it's probably the busiest period really. You think you can have a little bit of rest, but you actually don't. Obviously the phone doesn't stop, responding to calls, speaking to different people, recruitment. So no, it's been busy but enjoyable.
Yeah. So does the planning for the new season start straight after the Cockfosters Cup final, the day after? Peter give you on the blower, getting you down here, planning for the next season, or was it that fast?
Yeah, pretty much. Or to be fair, even moments during the season, you've still got sort of your eye on next season and what you want to implement and the changes you want to make. But yeah, pretty much straight after that cup final, me and Pete sat down and sort of come up with a plan and what we wanted to do, and now we're starting to implement that.
We'll reflect on last season. I mean, a lot of people in the non-league world sort of anticipate Real were the title favourites. Was it more difficult than you were anticipating? MK Irish put up a real fight at the end there.
Yeah, I think naturally, because what's happening here, yes, people obviously expect that success and expect you to keep winning. That's what you play football for. You want to be under that pressure. You want to be successful as a football club, as an individual, as a team. So, yeah, look, it was difficult in moments. We had a little spell sort of in the middle of the season where results didn't go our way, but the lads responded magnificently, and obviously we won the league in the end, and that's what we all set out to achieve.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, what are your thoughts on the non-league promotion and relegation? Only the champions go up automatically. MK Irish, I think they finished something about 27 points ahead of sixth place, didn't go up. Yeah. Does that make your job harder? Do you know you've got to be champions to go up, otherwise you face the peril of playoffs?
Yeah, of course it does. I've sort of been saying it for a while now. I don't understand why it isn't just across the board, 3 up, 3 down, or however you want to do it. So yeah, obviously to get promoted you've got to win a league, which is obviously very, very hard. Thankfully last year they obviously did bring in the playoffs, but before that it was literally you had to win the league. So thankfully we did it, and now we plan to have another successful season.
Off the pitch, obviously it'd be amiss not to mention Gemini, the Winklevoss twins. From a coaching and management point of view, have you had a chance to meet them at all? Have you had a chance to catch up with them? Do you get much involvement at that side of things?
No, look, that's down to Pete. The off-field stuff, I don't. To be honest, I have no interest in it. My job's on the field and to get results. So whatever Pete does and what he brings to us that will help us on the field, I'm thankful for. But I don't need to get involved in any of the off-field stuff.
Do those conversations crop up when you're trying to sign new players, or the investment that's coming in? It must be exciting for the players to be involved in something like that.
I suppose so. Lads will ask little questions about it, but again, I think when you're in a position of playing football, whether it's semi-professional or professional, your job's on there, on the pitch. So, yeah, they might have a little bit of banter about it and a little bit of fun. But like I said, our job's to produce on the football pitch, not off the field.
Sure. So, I mean, expectation for the coming season. Obviously, this club, whether it was in the previous guys or the new guys, in the Southern League for the first time. What are your expectations? Has Pete turned to you around and said, "I want another promotion"? Is champions the aim again, or is there room for consolidation?
No, look, I'm in football to be successful, and I'd like to think everyone else is that's around me. So I'm not going to sit here and go, I want to win the league, I want to do this. I want to be successful. What that is will be at the end of the season. Hopefully we can achieve what I set out to do. But no, look, Pete's not giving me no, you've got to go and win the league. Do we want to? Are we aspiring to do that? Yes, everyone is. Every 23 teams that are in the league will want to be successful. Otherwise, what's the point? So no, we want to go and be successful, and that's what we're planning to do.
And for those Real Bedford fans who aren't familiar with the Southern League, obviously fans nationally, internationally now, they might not know the Southern League like we do. What do you think the main difference is between sort of Spartans, South Midlands and the Southern League? I noticed last year that there's a big difference in physicality is the one thing. Does that come into your thoughts?
Look, every level you go up, the physicality, the tactical elements from the coaches, the analysis, everything improves. So nothing stands still, and that's why obviously as you go up and up and up, it gets harder and harder and harder. So we're under no illusion that it's going to be tougher, but we're planning on to be one of those teams that can be successful. So we've upped everything we can do to make us better, and hopefully that will help us.
So obviously the non-league schedule is very, very busy. Tournaments like the FA Cup coming around again. It's safe to say that the club doesn't need the money. Does the FA Cup therefore have a bit of a less significance, or is it such a huge competition that you really want to put everything you can into it?
No, definitely not. It's the, for me, growing up as a kid and even still now, it's the best competition to be involved in. It's something that we'll take seriously. Look, we know we're limited to where we can get to, obviously, but it's every boy's dream to do well in the FA Cup, and it's be every manager and now players' dream to do well in it. You can make headlines for yourself, but no, it is something we definitely will be taking serious and something we want to do well in.
I mean, as a player, did you ever have those moments in the FA Cup for maybe Forest Green or something like that?
Yeah, so when I was at Stevenage, we beat Newcastle, which was incredible. I was on the bench for that, and then I think we drew Tottenham after that, and it ended up in a replay, and we ended up losing. So no, there's huge moments that can happen in the FA Cup. You see it every year.
Yeah.
And Minnow gets somewhere. So no, it can change lives. So it's something we'll be taking serious.
Yeah, I mean, last year there was around February, March, there was a lot of abandoned postponements, waterlogged pitch and things like that, with the cup competitions on top of a full league schedule. In terms of building a squad, do you look further into the future in terms of that and trying to get a squad to combat postponements and things like that? Last year was a very difficult task for all non-league clubs.
Yeah, it's a good question. Obviously, it's something that non-league clubs struggle with. The fact games get postponed a lot through pitches, and then squad sizes. On top of that, injuries, suspensions. So yeah, I think it's kind of, you have a plan for it, but you obviously can't go and sign professional standard in terms of squads. You can't go and have 30 players because players are going to be unhappy. It's kind of something you have to think on your feet, really, when those moments arise, and you might have to dip into the loan market and speak to some of your contacts to help you out. I think that's kind of what you do during the season, is speak to people in case you're going to need them to help you. But yeah, no, that is a difficult part of the job. The fact that you obviously can't control the weather, the postponements and replays and things like that. But I think I've got a good squad. We're young, fit and healthy, so hopefully we can stay injury free and suspension free, and most lads can be available most weeks, which obviously is a manager's dream, to be able to pick from a big squad.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, speaking of new signings, you've obviously made quite a few already. A lot of non-league managers speak about character as a big aspect of what they look for in new signings. I mean, names I've got down here: Callum Nicholson, Jack Morrell. These are guys who did really well last season. Brooksway Town obviously got promoted. AFC Dunstable, Callum was the captain for. Are you someone who goes for character over talent, perhaps?
It can be quite a throwaway comment, can't it? Every manager will say character. But then what is character? For me, it's when I sit with players, I first and foremost want to learn about them. It's not even about football in that moment. Learn about their families, who they are, what they do for a living, what their aspirations are. And I think you can gauge a lot from that. Have they got the support network around them? Because that's a huge thing when things are going sort of difficult on the pitch. You need good people around you. So that's what I look for in characters first and foremost. And then, yes, the lads we've signed, most of them had good seasons last year. So you don't even have to worry about that playing side. They fit into sort of the model and what I want to do in terms of recruitment. Young lads that want to progress, play sort of the style that we're trying to implement. But yeah, like I said, character can be what is a good character, who actually knows that until you actually work out and dig into who they are as a person, and that's something I like to do from sort of day one that players are in the building.
A couple of departures. Luke Knight's moved on. Have you got a name already for the new club captain?
I have a couple of sort of names in my head, but we'll obviously be speaking to those, and then we'll make a decision from there. Luke, obviously, close friend of mine as well. Obviously wasn't playing as much as he wanted to, so he hasn't got long left in terms of his playing career. So we come to the agreement that it would be good for him to go and play and hopefully finish on a high at Daventry.
Another player who's sort of moved on, Charlie Smith, who's come into your coaching staff. How key is it for someone who's been one of the lads, essentially, who's been part of the playing group? Does that help you as a manager to bridge the gap between players and coaching?
Most definitely. I think I think you know when your body's kind of
Yeah.
shutting down, and me and Charlie had those conversations, and it was something he wanted to get into, coaching.
Yeah.
And again, from the way he played, I knew that he understood the style that I wanted to bring to the football club. So that was valuable. Like you say, he's literally just come out of the style that we were playing. So for him now, he's got a confidence in then going and coaching it and implementing it himself as well. And Charlie's been brilliant, because it's not easy to transition from that.
That's a journey you've done yourself.
Yeah, but especially when they've all been your teammates last year.
Yeah.
It's a very hard transition. But no, Charlie's been brilliant, and I'm sure he'll have a good coaching career going forward.
Yeah. We interviewed Bedford Town last week.
Yeah.
They mentioned the growing rivalry between the two clubs. Is that something that is talked about? I mean, as from a manager's point of view, are you glad that you're not playing them this year in the league? You might play each other in the cup.
I think it's healthy to have a rivalry.
Yeah.
Do I get involved in it? No, not really. It's not something I'm interested in. The off the field stuff and the social media element of whatever goes on, it doesn't really interest me, to be honest, Tom. It sounds cliche, but I concentrate on this football club and where I want my career to go. I'm not sort of interested in what happens at other football clubs, and that's just the way I am, to be honest.
Sure. I mean, generally speaking, the life of a non-league manager, we spoke briefly about, these conversations about next season happen during the season and things like that. I mean, I've heard words like chaos and things like that. The life of a non-league manager, is there any time to go on holiday or things like that, or is it all just full on 24/7, 365 days a year?
Yeah, no, it is. It's relentless, and I suppose you get out what you put in. I can sometimes some managers might be able to relax and do stuff a bit differently, because if it's not where they want to go with their career in the end, I suppose it can be more of a hobby. But for me, who wants to go into the professional game and go and do this as a living full time, it's a little bit different. So I feel like I've got to put the hours in to hopefully get me to where I want to be. But yeah, it is chaotic, it is difficult, but it's the best job as well. Yeah,
sure. I mean, at the time of filming, you've played a few pre-season games now. How are the lads looking? Are they looking fresh and ready to go? How have you? Is it the results don't really matter? Is that right? It's more about getting miles and legs and getting the tactics down?
Yeah, look, I know a lot of managers do sit there and say results don't matter, which ultimately there's no point, but you do want to see your team implementing your style, and if you believe in your style, then surely you want good results. So yes, as well as getting minutes and seeing that hopefully what you're implementing and training, the boys are delivering on the pitch, that they're the sort of main things that you want. But yeah, no, we've started well. We look good as a team. But like you say, you never actually know until that sort of the first game comes, when points are on the board or qualifications for next rounds. That's when the real moments, and you actually see what your team's made of.
So it won't be long until the competitive stuff starts. 3rd of August against St Neots Town in the FA Cup. Hope the rest of pre-season goes well for you. Wish you luck for the rest of the season. Thanks for your time.
Appreciate it.